Anyway, I'm going to let you tell a whole lot more. You want to use that thing?
Yeah,
like
can you hear me? Hi, I'm Tootie Smith. And I have a message for you folks. You are not alone. You know, you might look at the White House and the governor's mansion, the state legislature, and even the United States Senate and think liberals are in control. And you might be right. You might watch the national news or the local news and think the liberals are in control, and you would be right. And if you're like me, you shake your fist in frustration and say, enough is enough. But if you're an optimist like me, you might think, well, if we stand together and work hard, we can take back the state and the country. And you know what? You might be right. Fellow patriots, I have a message for you. We are going to elect Republicans, conservative Republicans, in Oregon next year. And Republicans are going to win the control of the United States Senate and fire Harry Reid, just like we did Nancy Pelosi. Do you believe me? Let's hear it.
Sure.
And you might be right. You know, President Obama once said that conservatives are bitter and we cling to things like guns and religion. Well, Mr. President, I believe in the Second Amendment, and yes, I proudly cling to guns. The only thing I'm bitter about is when liberals try to take them away. Last year, I actually got some attention by auctioning off a 9mm Glock pistol to raise money for my election. I had a lot of fun doing it, raised a lot of money, but you know what I enjoyed the most out of that? Watching how crazy the whole event drove the media and the liberal establishment crazy. Our president also said we cling to religion. Again, Mr. President, I plead guilty. I'm very proud of my Christian faith. It helps guide my life, just like it has guided our nation for the past 237 years. I agree with Ronald Reagan, who said, if we ever forget that we are one nation under God, then we'll be a nation gone under. President Obama also said that conservatives cling to anti-immigration sentiment. As far as that goes, I might be a fourth-generation Oregonian, but I'm descended from immigrants, as almost all of you are today. Immigrants built this country from its founding, and people still come here from around the country to start a new life, have good jobs, build businesses, raise families, and become Americans. Let me be clear, I am not against immigration. I am against illegal immigration. I am against amnesty, and I believe that immigration reform starts at our border. I also have a message for the junior senator from Oregon, Jeff Merkley. Mr. Merkley, you voted for taxes, the government takeover of health care, and raising the debt ceiling. You've been consistently rated one of the most liberal members of Congress. So while you might be lockstep with the big government and your liberal pals in Washington, D.C., you are way out of step with voters in Oregon. In fact, a lot of voters here apparently don't even know you. A recent poll showed nearly half of Oregonians don't know you or don't have an opinion of you. So whatever you've been up to for the last 4.5 years, Mr. Merkley, it isn't working well. You've appropriately been called the invisible senator, and you've ignored the concerns of this state while you work hard on things like trying to stop the needed investigation to the abuse of the IRS scandal. You've even tried to strip the Boy Scouts of their tax-exempt status, and I see some Boy Scouts around here today. Mr. Merkley, just because you're hiding from us doesn't mean we're not paying attention. Finally, Mr. Merkley, isn't it about time for an apology? Your threatening letter to the IRS in 2010, urging them to target conservative groups, helped lead to the abuses of that agency. Now that those abuses have been exposed, your response is to call what the IRS did as unacceptable and stick your head in the sand and ignore the issue. Mr. Merkley, what is unacceptable is that you have not apologized to the people for your role in this scandal. And while I'm at it, I also have a message for the bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. You may think you own more than half of this state, but you don't. Our state belongs to the people. And the people aren't going to sit back while you destroy jobs and rural towns in Oregon. You know, I got into politics, well, not politics, but let's say public service and volunteerism back in 1988, and that was when the spotted owl, government wanted to list spotted owls as endangered species. You remember that? Well, I went to Washington, I testified, I spoke to elected officials and the media. And you know what? Even though we didn't win the battle back there, we made a difference in that debate and kept up the momentum for years. And you know what? Today, it's almost fashionable to want to log our federal forests. After that, I raised a family, started a business, and eventually got elected to the state legislature. In the Capitol, I was known as a fighter. I fought against taxes and unnecessary spending, and I fought for jobs and conservative values. And as you can probably tell now, I am not done fighting. I'm now a Clackamas County Commissioner, and I'm fighting government waste and doing battle for my constituents every day. Thank you. Clackamas County is a mirror for the state of Oregon. Voter registration is almost evenly split among conservatives and liberals. It's a mix of rural and urban areas. I was proud to become the first elected Republican conservative woman to be elected to the board of Clackamas County. You will be hearing more from me over the next several weeks. I'll be talking to voters across the state about their concerns and about what they need from their representation in Washington. We can and we will take our state back. We can take our country back. As Abraham Lincoln said, my dream is of a place and a time where America once again can be seen as the last best hope. Fellow patriots, I believe in the future of America, and I feel the same way about Oregon. I know you share these values or you wouldn't be here today. I pledge to you today that I'm going to do everything I can to fix the mess that's been made in Washington. I hope you'll be with me. Thank you. God bless you. God bless Oregon. And God bless America.